Hello. So I didn't really know what the definition of a toy problem was, but I did a mock interview the other day on Pramp, and they gave me this problem. So I'm just going to attempt to explain it to you, hopefully within 2 or 3 minutes. This is flattenDictionary. I'm trying to create this function, and on my right side, I'm getting this as an input with key 1 with these nested objects, and then my output should be the the keys concatenate together with a dot like this. So I knew straight away with things with nested items there needs to be recursion involved, which is perfect because we are doing recursion. And I also knew that I needed a helper function to reiterate through the input dictionary. So what did I do? First, I knew that at the end I needed a result, and then I was just going to use my helper function to put everything in. So I knew that this final key was going to be reiterated when I write this helper function when I call it back again. So this final key in the beginning and the instantiation of it is going to be an empty string. The object is going to be my input, and result initially is just going to be what I have here. But when I call the helper function inside here, so like I said, an empty string, the object, and the result. I think I'll just do this. Return results. When I first call helper the first time, it's just going to be an empty string as the key, which goes here. And then the result is going to be an empty object first. So what did I do? For pseudocode, I knew that I needed to reiterate through my object. So for key and object, which will grab key 1, key 2, and then when I get to key 2, I need to be able to check whether this key 2, the value, is an object or not. So what I did was check whether or not value, which is going to be object key, is a single value or it's a dictionary. And from here, it was just a simple if-else statement. If it is a single value, what I need to do is I need to push result. I need to pull. So first, if it is a single value, it's simply result key equals object or value. That's what I needed to do. Else, if it is still an object, I'm going to reiterate through it. I'm going to recursively call the function again. Helper key, and it's going to be value, and then I'm going to return the result. So what happens here, just from this pseudocode, I'm basically saying to flatten this dictionary, call helper, and reiterate through this object right here. And check whether or not the value, which is here, the value is just one value or the value is an object, like this. If it is an object, go through helper again, and this time, set the key as whatever was set here, So in this case, if we're going to key 2, when it calls helper the second time, key 2 is going to be in this parameter final key. And the object is going to be this app object here. So in that case, from there on, I managed to create this code. For var key in object. And then I just did this, value equals object key, and is single value. So that was a tricky thing on how I needed to figure out how to figure out single value, but I figured it out that if you just take the value, the keys, object.keys, you just can't get the length of the value keys. So you check this value and you check how many keys it has. In this case, key 2.a's value only has 1. And if it does have 1, it is a single value. So I did if is single value and value is not equal object, just to make sure that we don't have an empty object as its value. What are we going to do? We're going to do result key equals value. But to instantiate it, we also have to make sure that this key here, this final key here, is not empty or null. Because if it is empty or null, that's fine. But what if it has something else? So in here, we have to do another if statement. So if final key is null, or it is an empty string, that's what I want to do. Else, if there is already a value in final key, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take result final key equals value. Else, give me 1 second. Else, result final key, and this is where I need to add my dot right here, plus key, and that equals value. But as I worked on the problem and I found other test cases, there is a problem when the key is empty, so I need to handle that as well. So if it's an empty key, all I need to do is result final key equals value. And here else, if it is not empty, that is what I get. So I have handled what happens if it is only a single value. So this will work, and it will also handle an empty string like this. However, that is not the complete picture. I will say we are already 50% done, and all I gotta do is, if it's not this here, it says if it's a single value, if value equals single value, if single value, if object. So else, if it is not a single value, if it is an object, what I want to do is, and I need to handle this the same way, if final key equals null, or, oops, here we go, j final key is an empty parentheses. What do we need to do? We need to recursively call helper again, but this time with key, the value, and result. And we're going to have to do the same thing here. Else, and we need to double check if key is also an empty key. So if key equals empty, final key equals value. I could have just copy pasted it. Else, except here, instead of calling result final key, we can do helper final key plus key value result. So in that case, this here will be complete. I believe I need that. Yes. Okay. So let's try here. Let's do console.log flattenDictionary test1, and then we're going to do that for test2 and test3. And I'm going to open up another one, and I'm going to do node toyproblem.js. So if we see from what we have here, it's correct. Key 1 and then key 2.a is 2, key 2.b is 3, and all of them are concatenated correctly. And if we see what the tests are, C is concatenated with D, so this should be key 2.a is 2, key 2.b is 3, key 2.c.d is 3, key 2.c.e is 1. And that is what we've seen. And if you guys want to pause the video slowly and just double check that all the answers are correct, I think that will do. But that is my slightly over 2-minute video. Thank you guys for watching.